Jude 1:14 tells us Enoch was also a prophet, speaking bold words about God's coming judgment centuries before anyone else. He walked with God and he spoke for God in a generation the Bible describes as deeply corrupt, surrounded by people heading in the opposite direction. That's not an accident. That's a man who decided that the direction everyone else was walking didn't determine the direction he would walk. Death has a perfect record against humanity. Enoch is the exception and the preview. Every single story sounds impossible, and yet every single one is scripture, verified, recorded, and preserved for a reason. The thread running underneath all of it is the same truth stated differently each time. God is not manageable. He doesn't operate inside the boundaries human logic builds for him. He doesn't need ideal conditions, qualified people, or conventional methods to accomplish what he has decided to do. And he hasn't changed, that God is present in whatever you're facing right now. Not a distant, theoretical presence, an active, specific, impossibly precise presence that shows up in ways nobody would think to predict, including you. Malachi 3:6 says simply, I, the Lord, do not change. These stories weren't recorded to impress us. They were recorded to remind us who we're dealing with. Because somewhere between Sunday mornings and the weight of ordinary life, most people quietly shrink their idea of God down to something more predictable, more manageable, more safe. The God of Scripture was never any of those things. He is still the same God today. The question worth sitting with is whether the God you're trusting on a daily basis is actually that God, or a smaller version you've unconsciously settled for.